Welcome back. You're watching Young Turks, India's longest running show on startups and entrepreneurship. With a fast growth in smartphone users, mobile wallets and digital payment services are witnessing an explosive growth in the country. Competition is getting fierce, but one startup that's determined to compete and win is our Young Turk from 2013, MobiKwik. Having recently raised $50 million in a Series C round of funding, which was led by GMO, a Japanese payment gateway, MediaTek, as well as existing investors like Sequoia Capital and Treeline Asia, MobiKwik has also applied for a payments bank license and swears that this is a well-thought-out, lucrative business for the company. Megha Vishwanath caught up with Bipinpreet Singh, the founder and CEO of MobiKwik, to find out what it's like dealing with competition from Alibaba-backed Paytm and continuously innovating on the product to stay ahead of the game.
Since the time we last met, we have grown about 30 times. The validation of the company as well as the space in general, so I couldn't be happier.
And validation from the investors. You recently raised Series C round of funding.
When we met last, if you remember, actually we were bootstrapped. We had not raised a single rupee of funding, and we were very proud of that. Since then, we found that, in order to scale further, we do need external capital. So we have gone through a bunch of, fundraisers since then. And in fact, the end of that year is when we raised our first round. So maybe I think Young Turks played a role in that, in, getting us that recognition and getting us that visibility that we didn't have.
Back then, you said that the only rival that you see is Airtel Money and internationally PayPal. Since then, so many new players have emerged. Paytm, of course, is extremely aggressive with its expansion plans. Freecharge got backed by a unicorn, Snapdeal, last year. Does competition intimidate you?
Competition is there, and competition was there when we met last. It was a different nature of competition. Even some of the names that you have mentioned, they were there, they were funded, we were still bootstrapped. But here we are, and we are competing very, very effectively, and I think we are very, very strong in the market. As far as e-commerce is concerned or offline retail is concerned, MobiKwik is the #1 wallet, and I'm proud to say that we have the maximum number of transactions and the maximum adoption.
With the introduction of unified payment interface or UPI, do you think it's going to be a threat for mobile wallets?
So I think, as far as payments in our domain is concerned, the flavor of the season keeps changing and has kept changing since we last met. 2013 is when we actually got the license for the wallet. 2014 is when people started saying, oh, wallets are going to be the next big thing. 2015, people started got enamored with the word payments bank. And 2016, people are talking about UPI. Does that change anything for us? I don't think so. UPI is a rails. UPI is an infrastructure. UPI is not an end consumer product. So somebody has to create the adoption for UPI with an app. Who will that company be? Will it be a bank? Will it be a non-bank? How will merchants adopt it? Who will create the awareness for the customers? I think those are questions which are not answered.
Well, but that's why it's a plausible threat, because there is uncertainty as to who is going to create that app, and if banks do come into the picture, would that change things for you guys?
It is one thing to have something available as an infrastructure like UPI. It is another thing to create a great user experience in the form of an app which is loved and adopted with great customer service to the end customer. In that, I believe nobody can meet MobiKwik. We have partnerships with banks, we have partnerships with everybody who's in the ecosystem. Our role is to create that trust to the great user experience.
Well, talking about your partnerships, that is with Suvidha, where users can now facilitate online transactions without a debit, credit or net banking. So clearly these are first-time users or new users. So how do you promote this tie-up to this target audience?
There is a large number of users who either don't use cards even if they have one, or don't have cards. So our target is to get all of those people onto MobiKwik. So in order for those people to come and use MobiKwik, they have to load money into MobiKwik, and they want to load cash. And one of the things that we did is launched Cash Pickup, which is available through top 4-5 cities in India, where sitting here you can order somebody to come and collect cash from you. Now that sounds little stupid in the sense that, how will the economics work, etc., etc. But actually, we are the only ones who invested in this. We are already processing, close to 5-6% of our business through this, just through cash pickup. And so that's when we realized that, what we need is more avenues for people to load cash into the wallet.
Considering how 3 out of 11 entities that had initially applied for payment banks have actually dropped out of this idea completely, and I know you have applied for a license as well, do you still think that this is a lucrative option for MobiKwik at this point?
To be truthful, the current users of MobiKwik as well as for our competitors, they do not belong to that particular segment who need another bank account, and especially a limited bank account which has 1 lakh rupees kind of a limit and 1 lakh kind of deposit limit. However, does that mean that there are not hundreds and millions of people to whom basic banking services currently are not being provided? The answer is yes. So that opportunity is there. So I think folks who understand this will invest in this for a longer term. We are not excited that in 1 year MobiKwik's business will change even if we get a license. We have been in the payments business. We know how things work. We know how to acquire users. We have built a merchant base. We have use cases. We know what users want, what merchants want. I mean, of course, there is a long way to go, but we have a basic setup in place with scale. So we can take it to the next level, potentially, if you have a payments bank, and get more people who are currently out of the financial inclusion and make them part of this journey.
Talking of other verticals and other new things that MobiKwik has forayed into now, the other thing is CashCare. Tell us more about that.
It's like a credit card, simply, but it's actually on your phone. It's on your app. If you open a MobiKwik app and if you apply for it, you instantly sort of get a line of credit if you are one of those users. For example, sometimes wallet goes short on balance and you're making a purchase, let's say booking movie tickets. So we instantly offer credit so that you don't have to go and load money into the wallet again.
All right, quick, candid response. Why should I use MobiKwik over Paytm?
Best experience around money, around wallets, and the best set of merchants where you can use MobiKwik.
All right, let me wrap by asking you, so the founding team, it's you and Upasana, husband, wife at home, co-founders at work. How do the two of you find the right balance?
So it's tough, and it's definitely not something for everybody. If I had to do it again, I definitely may not do it.
You will not do it?
Probably not do it. I think it's just too much. I think, spending 24 hours with the same person at work and at office, and mixing up of the personal and professional lives, you can try as much as you want to separate the two.
It doesn't work.
But it doesn't work. I mean, however, the flip side is that you cannot have a better co-founder than your own wife or your own husband, because when the things are down, when things are not going according to plan, is when you need the maximum support, both moral and emotional. What plans do the two of you have for MobiKwik and for the entire team? So I think our business plan is very, very simple. We want to grow more users and get to about 70 million users next year. We also have a goal of getting to $1 billion of GMV somewhere around second half of next year. And around the same time, we have created plans to be profitable. Currently, we are not, but we want to be operationally profitable month over month. And when do you see that happening? Sometime in the second half or towards the end of 2017, and I think that's when we'll become really the company to sort of watch out for.
Well, Bipin here is wishing you and your entire team at MobiKwik the very best for the future. It's time now for another break here on Young Turks, but on the other side, find out